to create cultural capital through activities and endeavors that propagate literary and cultural assets of India. In the past 4 decades, the Foundation grew in stature and recognition as an organization that gives the best platform to writing geniuses and showcases the kaleidoscopic cultural heritage of India. The Foundation dedicatedly works across more than 50 cities to connect readers to literary creations of authors and poets, and showcases talented musicians, dancers, storytellers, and performing artists through its stellar literary and cultural initiatives. The Foundation cherishes the close association of distinguished associates, collaborators, partners, and Ehsaas Women of India in creating landmark events on the global map. It supports the UNESCO view that cultural development has the potential to be an alternative way of promoting sustainable development in rural communities. The anthem of Prabha Khaitan Foundation deserves a special mention. It is ensured by the national philosophy, unity in diversity. The anthem of the Prabha Khaitan Foundation has been curated by the musical genius Pandit Vishwa Mohan Bhattji. The anthem reflects the true essence of the multicultural diversity of India. Please can we hear the anthem? Philosophy.
Share many words, and I thank you for your patience in advance. I must admit, Lakshmi, I am a little humbled sharing the stage with you today, yet grateful to have this opportunity of engaging with a personality who has not only achieved a lot, but is also a friend, for whom I care for and deeply respect, as did my late husband, Vikram. Very happy to see Hardeep Singh ji here. I was told, I thought that he might not come. But then I said, he is not going to miss celebrating Lakshmi and swallowing the sun. It was also very wonderful to spend time with Indra. And yesterday, I could experience the shared values and the sisterly bond. At the risk of repeating her accolades, Lakshmi Puri, a distinguished diplomat, former ambassador, in leadership positions at the UN, leader in the first global organization to promote gender equality, recipient of the Edgar Roosevelt Award for Human Rights, many more, and now an author who has earned literary acclaim with her debut novel, Swallowing the Sun. Some people's grace transcends intimacy's niceties, or as you actually yourself put it, the pantomime of diplomacy. I remember, Lakshmi, you and Hardeep had me home for dinner very soon after Vikram passed, sensitively invited an intimate group of our common and very close friends. Your quiet understanding illuminated my grief. I was a little uncertain of myself that day, standing alone sadly, almost like the ant. But your empathy and strength acted as a balm. As we know, a home reflects the sensibilities and the aesthetic of those who live in it. Lakshmi and Hardeep's home has the style and elegance, a little of the international, with a touch of tradition, tempered with a certain quirkiness, almost fairy ceilings. We had traditional food with a twist served in beautiful thalis, and an unsaid message passed between us woman to woman that grief is not a source of rage, but a touchstone to a woman's strength. It's amazing, Lakshmi, how some people like you pass on so much unspoken, unwritten, and now written. Lakshmi manifests the perfect balance and blend between timeless values and modernity, a progressive mind that can match the best in gender and ability, wearing a traditional sari while leading on an international stage of intelligence balanced with empathy, which is perhaps why, Lakshmi, you have been a very successful diplomat and now a living writer. As Anand Mehta put it at the Mumbai launch, Lakshmi joins the line of writers who have achieved fame by practicing dual careers. I'm sure she brings to the pantomime of diplomacy the high creativity of her art. It springs from a rootedness in Marathi and Indian culture that permeates her book Swallowing the Sun. Her diplomatic skills and her writing reflect this rootedness because despite the pantomime, people always respond to authenticity. Swallowing the Sun entered my life when I was needed. Just as you actually reached out and soothed my heart, so did your book and your writing. After my sudden loss, as I said, I was beginning to feel much empty hand. So I was motivated not only by the hand who flies out into the sky, but actually swallows the sun. I got a sense of courage and conviction through my adversity, because the resonance that great literature evokes also revolves. As I started reading the book in the beginning, Lakshmi, your personality overpowered my reading. I guess that happens to all authors' friends when they read the first novel. But a few pages in, the power of swallowing the sun immersed me as I looked in for Malati and Ganga. While on the surface, my childhood and later life were nothing like Malati's, she resonated with me deeply. This ability to connect with every reader is the hallmark of great literature. And I'm sure that Swallowing the Sun will find its place in the annals of modern Indian literature. We look forward to many such books and to you being one of India's prolific women writers. It is a tribute to the transcendence of the art of writing that excellent writing can come from the opposite ends of the establishment and anti-establishment segments. The resonance with Malati was rewarding because Malati's courage and spirit spoke to me independently of the specifics of era and plot. Though it's about women struggling to fight patriarchy against the backdrop of the independence movement, I think across 3 decades. From the norm that tradition binds and suppresses. It's about women who don't just want to, I quote, step into the masculine rear, but shape it too, unquote. As the book says, I quote, the desire to learn subjects and new ideas at the level of complexity that women were not privileged to access. Tough young women to the world, no wallpapers of playing bees, unquote. Studying Kafka, playing sport, and living life. But it is not activism, overt aggressive feminism, nor rebellion, nor insensitivities to the environment. I think of the book as a tribute to the ordinary, in quote, daring to attain the unattainable, yet anchored in their family, their culture, and the society around. This way of harmonious striving towards self-realization and equality profoundly resonates with me as it would with many. Frankly, it transcends gender and can be true of either man or woman. In fact, I found the male characters equally strong and sensitive. In my eyes, my dear friend Lakshmi is much the same as the person and the author we are celebrating today. Somewhere, Lakshmi, in my mind, at the end of it all, you represent the Indian woman who is not just a gender, but a civilization with value. And that also reflects in the women characters in your book. While Swallowing the Sun is an expression of the potentiality of the innate strength of ordinary people, I think the closing 2 lines of the beautiful account from the book, which she has quoted, also adds a cosmic truth that this strength springs from the human soul's ability to be untouched by the strangeness and predation of Maya or reality, and hence I quote from it. Mukta mind sees all. Mukta mind laughs unpaid, and life goes on. Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you, Lakshmi, for giving the world a gift that is timeless across generations. Thank you for being a friend to my darkest moments. Above all, for being the woman you are and the author you have become. Over to Lakshmi.
May you honor your ancestors, whose genes sleep deep within you, who fought for freedom and kinship for little women such as me. So that was it is a tribute very much and very much inspired by my parents. journey, their extraordinary life, and that era that they lived in. And I was born to them when they were 45. So I had a kind of child's insight into their world, and they were great storytellers. They were steeped in literature, in Sanskrit literature, in Marathi literature, in English literature. So their story and their work, and some eras, as I said, need to be memorialized, and I really felt that this was a story waiting to be written and wanting to be written. But it took a long, long time. You said something very beautiful in in the introductions of one of your books, that one must pluck the day or pluck the movement and the rightness of the moment one is to seize. But I did start writing this not as a biography, but as a novel. In 2000, when I was ambassador in Budapest, and I wrote 100 pages, and then I got blocked, mental writer's block, they call it. And I had other excuses. I was busy with work and family and everything. And then it was only when I returned to India many years later in 2018, but I really started at the instance of my soulmate and husband, Hardeep Singh Puri, and my sister, Indira. When COVID came, they said, you have to finish the book. And this was a labor of love. I did want to tell the world what the story is. And it was a question of, those days you got up thinking not knowing whether you lived the next day or not. So I told myself, it's now or never. So I wrote for 1 year, working 8 to 10 hours every day, and the first draft was 270,000 words. It had to be shrunk to 150,000. So, and then it got published, and David Damodar discovered it, and so I'm very grateful for that. So that's how this book came about. Seed or not, whether it ends in triumph or tragedy. So that's the effort of and it's also therefore reflected in the title of the book, Swallowing the Sun. We're trying to do the impossible, attaining unattainable. But may I just read a paragraph on how that translates into Marty, whom you referred to, her perception of who she is, what she is struggling towards. And it's also part of the metamorphosis theme. Many themes run through this novel. Malti and Kamla had come to believe that they were living in Bombay at a time when everything was being turned inside out and upside down, the improbable Mukta Highway. It was as if the small, sweet LG bananas grew with their ivory-colored, fragrant, sweet, pulpy flesh outside, enveloping their thin, yellow, blotchy skin inside. It was as if the Indian tiger had come out of the forest and sat supping with brown queens at the starched linen-covered table in the Gymkhana Club of Bombay, being served by British sahibs in red and white uniforms, doubling over to please the natives. It is as if the frail Indian ascetic, with nothing but the sword of his soul force, the shield of his khadi loincloth, and the cannon fire of the Indian masses, was breaching the iron and stone battlements of the great British Empire, riding on the waves of his tremulous voice. They cherished their freedom to become part of his spirit. Make miracle make, even if as a kind party, they did not want to lose